Well, I just left the theater after seeing The Rise of Skywalker, and I just think of all the intellectual properties that for some reason just feel like killing themselves with utter horseshit. The Predator, for instance. Why Hollywood decided to change a proud race of dangerous hunters into a race that for some reason is now trying to weaponize autism of all things, I don't know. But I'm looking forward to The Predator 2, where they try to weaponize fetal alcohol syndrome. I'm sure they can make something useful out of that. Or The Terminator, Dark Fate. Sure, just completely retcon the series again. And this time, just take John Connor and murder him and hand over his destiny to some Mexican midget. Sure, why not? My God. Or hell, Game of Thrones. Season 8. And that clusterfuck. Just make Jon coming back to life and being a Targaryen completely fucking pointless. And put a cripple on the throne. Sure, why not? The same cripple that previously said him being the three-eyed raven means he can no longer or ever be a lord, but king, oh fucking hell, sure, hand it right over. I thought it couldn't get any worse than The Last Jedi. And, well, J.J. Abrams, you did it. I know Rian Johnson didn't give you a hell of a lot to work with after killing off any of the interesting characters in his own film, the second of a trilogy, and just shitting in a box and handing it over to you. But, come on, JJ. I would have expected better. You've been making Star Wars films since 2009. And Disney, what the fuck? Disney, your handling of the Star Wars franchise, Chris Brown showed more respect to Rihanna than you have for this franchise. You seem to do all right with Marvel. On the whole, I'd say about 75% of Marvel films, the MCU, were hits. There were some misses, but on the whole. But my God, I can barely recognize the characters from the original trilogy in this new Disney trilogy. Lando in Rise of Skywalker, I must admit, he seemed pretty on the whole. But on the whole, what the fuck am I saying? I liked Lando for the couple scenes he was in. Yeah, he seemed to be all right. He seemed to come out of it pretty unscathed. But Luke, Leia, Han, as just Mickey Rooney's character in Breakfast at Tiffany's showed more respect in representing the Asian American community than the original actors were able to show for their own characters. Brilliant, Jim. Brilliant. A 60-year-old movie reference. People in nursing homes are laughing their asses off right now. Hell, why not? Let's go older. Birth of a Nation's portrayal of African Americans showed more respect than the original cast members were able to show for their own characters in this trilogy. Oh, hey, there's also another blink and you miss it moment. Wedge Antilles comes back. He has one line, and you never see him again. He's not even piloting anything, for fuck's sake. Oh, spoilers. And I just wanted to see. I had no intention of actually going to see Rise of Skywalker, but when the Reddit leaks came out, my interest was actually piqued in the same manner that the thumbnail on Live Leak of, oh, hey, check out this ISIS beheading, piques my interest. I wanted to see if it was going to be as big a trash fire as we all thought it was going to be. And I can honestly say, for the most part, it delivered. Now, going back to shit on Rian Johnson for a second. I know that he said he wanted to emulate World War II bombers when it came to those god-awful designed bombers that took out that by all miracles managed to take out that dreadnought at the beginning of The Last Jedi. But if that was the case, and Disney hadn't decided to totally trash and ignore the extended universe, or all the parts they didn't want to, scavenge from, Ryan, why didn't you just give the K-Wings their big screen debut? If you wanted to emulate World War II bombers. K-Wings, multiple engines, multiple defense turrets on them. Missiles, rockets, bombs. They had them all, but whatever. Anyway, my interest was also piqued a couple weeks ago when J.J. Abrams decided to come out and brag about Rise of Skywalker, 9th film in this trilogy, quad, but you know what I'm trying to say. Well, fuck it. 9th film in the... No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to call these 9 films the Skywalker saga. No, the Skywalker saga ended with 6. I'm sorry. I'll just say this 3rd film in the Disney trilogy bragged about having the first LGBTQIA apostrophe semicolon emoticon representation in all of Star Wars. And that, again, along with the Reddit leaks, piqued my interest. And we all knew how that was going to go. We know the kind of stranglehold China and other countries, big markets, have on Hollywood. They were not going to have some large LGBT representation, because they were going to have some little cheapo scene that they could easily edit out for the distribution in China and whatnot. And when that JJ first came out with that, I thought, I said on Twitter, I would give Rise of Skywalker a 5 out of 10 purely if they had just one passionate scene with Finn and Poe just clapping cheeks. Because they are, honestly, Finn and Poe, that's the only actual chemistry I believe in this entire friggin' trilogy. Sorry, Rose. But that scene would also have to include showing Rose Tico in the next room, overhearing that sex scene and crying. Just all the dirty talk, rebel scum, all of that. I would have given the film a 5 out of 10 if that scene had been included. Sadly, it was not. It was all what we were expecting it to be. A literal second and a half, blink and you'll miss it scene with that one old woman officer there who introduced Holdo in The Last Jedi. I think that was her and some other old woman share a kiss. And it's literally the second their lips come together, it cuts off to something else. I wanted to laugh in the theater when I saw that, knowing that, wow, this is what they bragged about. Pandering asses. Nope. Could have actually had Finn and Poe, Brokeback Mountain. Nope, couldn't do it. Need those Chinaman dollars. Oh, God. I'm just fucking rambling now. But, you know, part of me has to blame the fans. Hear me out. Hollywood, it's all about money. It's not really about the art anymore. It's what's safe. What is guaranteed to make money? Well, we have all these franchises that people always seem to rush back to. Let's just keep making more of that. Let's, the Terminator, Star Wars, they're safe. But even then, they have to put in their goddamn agenda, and that just fucks up a guaranteed thing. It should have been hard to fuck up Star Wars, but they managed it. But it's whenever a company seems to go out and take a risk, we as fans don't give them the credit they deserve. John Carter came out years ago. Edgar Rice Burroughs, the Princess of Mars series, could have actually made an interesting series of films. But there wasn't enough interest for them to take a good, real, solid risk, and it flopped. Orson Scott Card, Ender's Game. That could have been another interesting series of films. And I'm pretty sure the film didn't do well either. But Hollywood, you proved it a couple months ago. Sometimes taking risks and just putting actual passion into it will do you a favor. Look what happened with Joker. What was it, 70 million? And over $1 billion in returns. Come on. Just have passion. And yes, I'll admit it, give the fans what they want. And don't feel the need to spoon feed political or ideological bullshit into it. I'm ranting. I apologize. But, oh yeah, what did I start with? Oh yeah, Rise of Skywalker. After seeing it, I have to give some credit where credit is due, and there were a couple scenes in this film where I actually felt emotional. I had tears. It was a couple of scenes, so I wanted to hate this film with an utter passion. I truly did. But it did manage to get an emotional response out of me, the crying little bitch that I am. And if I have to put a number to it, I think just as a film, taking some of my bias out of it, as a film, it kept me interested through the whole runtime. There were some actually gorgeous shots, I must admit, because I'm a sci-fi fantasy fan. I am. And Star Wars is an absolute sci-fi fantasy. People laughed at the whole space horse thing. And honestly, I didn't really have a problem with the space horses. I wanted to see a bajillion ships in a space battle. And I got it for 2 minutes. It's just the context that those scenes are put in is utter horseshit. It was never their intention to bring back Emperor Palpatine. It's just Snoke being killed in the second goddamn film of a trilogy. Kill your big bad in your second film of a trilogy. Brilliant. And if they wanted to bring back Palpatine, they could have done it in an interesting way. Hell, have Snoke be a clone of the Emperor. Why not? Just the cloning process somehow fucked up and it really messed him up, his face-wise and whatnot. But it greatly increased his powers. Hell, you could spin that. I could believe that or something. I don't know. It's just, I'm trying to take my bias out of it and just look at it as a film. And when I do that, with all this, everything considered, getting an emotional, the scenes I wanted, they're getting an emotional response out of me. I think I'll have to go and give the film 5.5. No, not 6. Yeah, 5.5. But all the other context, as a Star Wars fan, and what they did with it, and what they could have done with it, I'd have to give it a 4. So, just going in, watching it as just a layman, a 5.5, an actual truly impassioned Star Wars fan, a 4. And that's just me. I'm not a film critic. I didn't go to art school or anything. I'm just some asshole here in Maine. And that's my opinion. I give Rise of Skywalker a 4 out of 10. I didn't feel like killing myself after seeing it, so it had that going for it. But I honestly, listening to other people standing around in the lobby after coming out of the film, the consensus was, yeesh. So, Disney, Rogue One is still the best Star Wars film you made, and that's not saying much. I don't know what you're planning. Well, you flat out said you weren't going to make any more in the main story. You might come out with some anthology stuff. I don't know. But you're going to need more than Baby Yoda in the Mandalorian series. Oh, fuck. Spoilers. There's a Baby Yoda in the Mandalorian series. You're going to need more than that. You're going to need more than the last 20 minutes of Rogue One. You're really going to have to buckle down and honestly, what's their name? The Yuuzhan Vong, whatever the fuck. Bring them in, why not? Hell, bring in that weird dinosaur race that uses people's life energy to power their technology. Fuck it. Bring them in. Couldn't do any worse than what you're doing. Ah, Jesus, I'm just going on and on. This will technically be my second film, pompous ass. This will be my second video going up on YouTube. I made it a little long. and I've used some colorful language. Please, YouTube, don't rake me over the coals too much for that. But honestly, I just felt like venting after this last couple months, after the Reddit leaks came out. Knew it was going to be a disaster, and even after those leaks came out and they did some reshoots, so honestly, what the fuck are they thinking? I don't know. I'm not trying to give a synopsis of the film. Honestly, feel free to go see it. I'm not going to tell you not to see it, but if you can avoid giving Disney your money, like I did, if you can go to a torrent site and find it, you might have to deal with looking at the backs of a few people's heads and some foreign squiggle shit on the screen, but that shouldn't take too much away of your viewing pleasure of watching The Rise of Skywalker. And there's okay, don't know what that's about. Fire trucks. Couple fire trucks just went by. So they must have seen the film as well. I'm gonna give it a rest now. I'll leave the ultra long synopses and reviews of the film to some other people on YouTube. You know who I'm talking about. And you should expect that film I keep saying film, Jesus Christ. You should expect those videos sometime in 2025, whenever he gets to it. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just signing off now. Peace, everyone.